Hey,
Hey,
we're live. We probably should have announced this before going live.
but
Uh,
it's something for you guys to see
Impromptu.
um,
Not.
whenever you see it, I guess.
I feel like I can't. Let me hold the camera better. Oh, you got this.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
Ugh.
Doesn't look like anybody's in here, but for when you get here, let me know if you hear me okay.
Well, we figured we would. I can't even figure out where my camera is. Oh, it's over here instead.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we thought we would tell you guys about our first impressions of Nepal, aka where we are right now. And we got here, I don't know, a few hours ago.
Mm-hmm.
We left yesterday, Saturday, that is, Saturday morning. And then we got to Doha this morning on Sunday. And then we got to Nepal by um like four or five ish in the afternoon today. Journey to get here.
Day, 2 day,
Yeah,
whatever
like
you
a
want to
day
call
and a
it.
half because
Yeah.
we left 10, well, 11 something on Saturday and then get here until 4 p.m. a
And
day
so
later.
far, and possibly not gonna happen, no jet lag.
Yeah, so far no jet lag.
I
I
think we are
feel
on the
like,
appropriate schedule.
yeah, the schedule, it feels like it's nighttime and it's time to go to
Yeah.
bed. And it's about, what we said, 12 p.m. at
Home.
home.
Yeah.
So if anyone does sign on,
It's like lunchtime for you.
it's well, actually most people are probably getting up if they didn't go to
Yeah.
church or
Because it's
something.
Saturday, true.
It's Sunday.
And oh right, it's Sun.
It's
Oh man,
Sunday.
yeah, yeah,
It's Sunday,
yeah.
so we get it.
We lost Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday was all on the
We
plane.
spent Saturday in space.
We oop, I think our phone. Oh, there you go. Not as blurry. So we're in your future because we're ahead. Like I don't even know how many hours.
Yeah,
It's like a weird number.
it's like 10 hour. No, it's like 9 hours and 45 minutes ahead of time.
Really?
It's something stupid like that. Yeah,
Because it's 10 something now. Wouldn't
yeah,
it
but it's
be?
not like it's not one for one. I feel like I should look it up, but I don't want to like look at my phone in this video.
I
But
I think it's about like,
you're gonna make me look it up.
oh brother, he's gonna look it up. But anyway, the
Yeah,
timing is like weird.
yeah.
Um so it's not like we're exactly 12 hours ahead or exactly anything. It's like you're, let's say, 10 hours and a half
Yeah, we
behind.
we are 10 uh right? 9 hours and 45 minutes.
9 hours and 45 minutes ahead.
Yeah,
That's weird because
it's
if
very
it's
weird.
12 p.m. or 12 and
This
change.
region has some of the weirdest time zones. I remember reading something that said China, and I don't know if this is still true, so I'm sorry for anybody that's in
Why
the
does it keep
region
going out of focus? Okay, there you
uh,
go.
that are be like that's not true anymore or whatever. But at a point, and maybe now, maybe in the past, China had one time zone, right? But the landmass of China covered four time zones. So if you were on the western end of China, you were basically screwed. So like other countries that like bordered the western area of China tried to accommodate for it because their time zone was all like whacked out. So
Well, I just found out that in Illinois versus Indiana, I think, or no, no, what's below? Is it Indiana?
possibly
Indiana borders Illinois, but it's
it
not below
does.
it.
It is.
Oh, it is.
It
Okay, so it
is.
is Indiana. I just learned that the bordering towns have the same time zone as Illinois, but the
Uh,
rest of the state doesn't.
Now the rest of the state is on Eastern Standard Time. They changed that when I lived
Yeah.
there. At one point, they had no daylight savings time, and everybody else did, except for the upper. western region and the lower eastern region. They were trying to like be like with everybody else, but then they made the majority of the state go on Eastern Standard Time, and then the rest of it goes to Central Standard Time because you
My
know
arm is getting tired.
Indiana has to be special.
Um, since we're already at 5 minutes, let's go back to Kathmandu.
First
First
impressions.
impressions. So, like I was telling Kamau tonight
Mm-hmm.
while we were having dinner,
Mm-hmm.
um, if you hear noises, it's totally the cafe
Yeah,
of our B&B. They're closing right
the
now.
B part of the B. Obviously, we're in the other B, so figure out what the first one is.
Anyway, so like I was telling Kamau, I feel like most times when we travel, I don't know if it's just us or let us know if you feel the same way. Like leave a comment below. But I feel like sometimes when we travel, it takes like a little bit to feel like you went somewhere. Like like when we went to Lisbon, I felt we were already in Barcelona and Italy, so I knew we were already in Europe. But when we first entered Lisbon, it seemed so like
Familiar.
familiar,
Yeah.
and it felt like we were in the Caribbean
Or
maybe or
Florida.
Florida or something
Yeah,
like that
it
until
definitely
we
did.
went deeper in it, and that's when it felt like we were in another country or a new city. And I feel like with Kathmandu so far, as soon as we got into the airport,
It felt very
it felt
Caribbean.
very different. I feel like the airport. The first thing I thought was it reminded. Well, for no, not us being on the plane and the plane not being able to land because there's like 10 planes in front of us to land. We like circled around the mountains and we were in the clouds obviously, and then we like descended and then we were closer to the. Well, let me try to get us focused. Okay, there you go. So as we descended, we saw like more mountains below us, but as soon as you can see everything below us, um, you can tell that you're somewhere different before even getting off the plane. I was trying to take pictures that would make it clear, or like you you guys could feel like you were there, or like you see what I saw, but it's so hard to like really capture it because it was so surreal seeing all those like houses, all the mountains, like the no ending to the bottom of the mountain. It's just like a hole. It was kind of crazy. And then when we got to the airport, I felt like it totally felt like somebody's school, and we were just like visiting a school or something, and that's their airport. It's a very modest airport. And
I don't
the
even think
way
there's a duty free.
there's no duty free there. And, how everything is managed is very like we were like trying to find someone to help us, and we couldn't find anyone. But come to realize, everybody who's working there is like in regular clothes, not a uniform, like a uniform, like uniform that everyone has to wear. They did have badges, but some of them had them like tucked in something or like tied up, and like you couldn't really tell who was working for the airport and who wasn't. But you basically, I'm just saying, like I know that I'm in a different country. Like as soon as we like entered, I opened my eyes and I saw what I saw, and even just like walking around the airport, driving, and then getting driven to our B&B, it's like we're
It's
somewhere new.
utter,
We're somewhere
utter
new.
chaos. I don't think. Well, that's not fair. I have seen roads that were kinda as crazy as this one, and the dynamic was very familiar. If you've been off shanty towns and people on the side of the road, somebody making a fire so they can cook, the smell of sage and herbs in the air, which is always like, it's a welcoming experience whenever I have that. When I wake up in the morning and I smell sage, I'm like, where did we go? No, but yeah, so that was all very familiar. But whatever you're thinking, unless you've been to this region, magnify it by like 10. It
Yeah,
was utter
for
chaos.
sure.
There were no traffic lights. There were just officers flagging people and be like, "Okay, so now you go. Okay, now you go. Oh wait. Now you go. Okay, now you go. All right, now you go. Oh, someone's on my phone.
Yeah.
You guys can figure it out. You guys can figure it out. Let
It
me.
was
It
that was
was
really
it was
funny.
really it was
I was
fun.
like, are you actually helping or
You got to do it.
is it sorry. I was like, are you actually helping traffic or are you making more traffic?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely we could have haggled our taxi driver, but I was just not in the mood.
No, no, no.
And I was
Especially
just like,
after all the traveling,
yeah,
I just
and
wasn't
more
hurt.
so, I think we were okay when we got to the airport. And we arrived. It was more so like being in the airport for another like 2 hours possibly because we had to get our visa. Um,
Which there are. I mean,
quickly,
neither one of us speak Nepalese, right?
yeah,
Let's be fair. But everybody speaks English, right? We'll be fair. We'll be very fair here. All the signs are in English. Everybody behind the counter speak English. What they don't have is a numeric process where you're like, here first, then here, then here.
yeah.
It's kind of like you gotta just like look around and try to find somebody from your flight that's going on a line. I'm like, oh, maybe I'm supposed to go over
Because
here.
again, like you can't really find the people who work for the airport
Right,
because
because they're plain clothes.
they look like they're also someone traveling
Yeah,
because they're in plain clothes. You can barely see their pass unless they ask you like, "Oh, go over here." No, 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 no. You have this? No, okay, then you have to go over there. It's very confusing. The signs are very
yeah.
confusing. If
And
you, oh, sorry,
uh,
if you're
I
thinking
was gonna
about
say,
doing your visa beforehand, um, I guess we'll talk about that in another video,
yeah,
but it's honestly, I feel like it may or may not actually help you get through there
no,
faster
I don't think
if
it
it's
will.
your whole flight that's
Yeah.
also trying to get their visas. And if there's other flights at the same time that just landed, it's gonna just be a lot of people no matter what, and you're gonna have to wait.
And for all you Trekkies out there, and not the space ones from the sci-fi show, but for all you Trekkies out there that have been to this region before, please pay it forward. I felt like there was a lot of people there who actually did know the process and weren't saying anything. And
Mm,
while we were waiting in line to pay for our
oops.
visas, we saw like this one family was a grandfather and his two granddaughters, and they're just struggling to try to figure out which one to do. And they were huddled, they were waiting in line on one kiosk, and there was like three other ones available. And I was like, hey, you can totally use those other ones over there and then come back in line. We're not gonna like make a big deal about it. It's confusing as is anyway. And they're like, oh, thank God. And they went and did their thing. So like, if you know what's going on, please help somebody else, even if you don't think
Yeah.
they speak your language. It's just,
Yeah, everyone appreciated any help.
yeah,
Unfortunately, the couple in front of us totally waited in front of us the whole time.
yeah,
And then they went to the counter and didn't have their visa receipt.
yeah.
I felt so bad because I could have swore I saw
I
that they
only
had it.
I only felt halfway bad because well, I'm very prejudiced, and it's my own biases from living in Indiana. But anyway, it felt like the lady was thought that we had like some sort of brown privilege because she was just like, oh, so they get to go because she didn't have the ticket that said what all the information was on, and then I pulled out my ticket that had all the information on it, and the guy was like, this is the ticket I'm talking about. You should go get it on the kiosk, and I was like, I mean, I don't know what you want me to do, like we kind of figured it out, but there was nobody that was actually telling people to go use the kiosk.
Yeah, yeah. And then there was one guy that actually didn't know English that well that worked there
Yeah.
that also kind of, I was like, he was like, three, three, three. And I'm like, three lines, three lines. He's like, yeah, yeah, three lines, three, three. And
It
I'm
was
like,
just a bunch of people standing around.
and like if I wasn't actually paying attention to him, I would have thought he was just some like hobo hanging out in the airport or something. I don't know. Like he just seemed like he was
Yeah,
just
he
some
did.
random dude.
He did.
Maybe like a cab driver.
Yeah.
I don't know how the airport runs. Like if cab drivers can like come in and like just start pointing out things to
Yeah.
people. I don't know. So, but like you wouldn't have known he was an employee. So like people ignored him.
Yeah.
But I actually paid attention. I was like, oh, I was like, there's 3 lines ahead, and Kamau's like, okay, there's 3 lines ahead. So we kept like that in our mind and try to split up a little bit and see who got to the front fastest.
Right.
But yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot.
Coming to Asia is not, it's not simple, but it's not like super duper hard.
It's
Like
yeah.
as long as you plan, like aka buy a flight and like make sure times work out well and just regular travel stuff.
And don't be timid. Do
Yeah,
not be timid.
that's true.
Ask questions. Go up to people. Take a plunge and hope for the best. Um, at this point, we're pretty experienced travelers, so we have a lot of things in mind. I don't really think we'll get God, as the kids say. Um, Maybe we will, but if we do, it won't be for all that much relative
Yeah,
to
I
what
don't
the
think
cost of
so.
things are. Because sometimes, and we were actually kind of just talking about this earlier tonight at dinner. Sometimes I'm willing to pay more. Like I just don't care.
Yeah.
I just don't care because it's not like it's gonna be like a ton of money or whatever. Like for instance, when we were grabbing a cab, somebody tried to stop us and they're like, "Oh, you can go with us," and it'd be 700 rupees, which is probably about like $7 in American. And we're like, "Nah," because that's not where they told us to go. So then we went where they told us to go, and the guy was like, they told it was supposed to be 500 rupees, but then they said
Mm.
it was 500 for each of you, so it wound up being $1,000 or $10 in American. Um, and we were kind of just like, all right, yeah, whatever. Because I just didn't feel like haggling. After like flying for like 18, 19 hours, I'd rather just go with the instructions that were like set out and go from there because it was like, okay, I know where we're going, I know what's happening. Because when we talked to the first guy and we were trying to tell him where we were going, he was like, yeah, I got an idea where that is. And I'm like, nah, I don't like that. I need to get to
Yeah,
my
we need
hotel and call it
to.
a day.
Yeah, that was actually. Yeah, I'm like being like, oh, kind of like trying to be like, maybe you could call the host, like he
Yeah.
told you, and it was just like, you're trying to do something here, and this
Yeah.
is not what I'm trying to
And
do.
by all means, make your money. And if any one of you get to this area and feel safe enough or confident enough to roll with them, by all means. But for me, um, I just had a wacky sleep schedule for the last like 3 or 4 days, and this trip kind of set me back on pace. But it was still exhausting. It was a long, long trip.
Yeah, it was
We spent most of Saturday in the air.
in the air. That's the long. I mean,
Yeah.
and it didn't really feel. I think that was one of the most surprising things. I didn't feel like it was 12 hours in the air,
I didn't feel like that either. And
and I didn't.
Selena kept pointing out that I slept for
He
most
slept
of
a lot,
the flight, but it wasn't most. It was a
and
lot of it, like a lot, at least
like
probably
I was
half
surprised that he was still
together.
sleeping most of the time. Like
Yeah,
things would happen and he was still sleeping.
yeah.
I got up
God.
probably a good amount, but then I would go back to sleep. But I feel like I got on the schedule of, yeah, it's nighttime, even though like I can look at my watch and I knew it was like 12 in the afternoon
Yeah,
or 1 in the
yeah.
afternoon. So that was actually pretty surprising too. Anything else about Kathmandu before we reach like 20 minutes live?
On the right end, I saw that there was a lot of things that we're gonna want to purchase later that are pretty inexpensive,
Mm,
and also we had a very lovely dinner at our B&B because it's also a
cafe,
cafe. Come find us, and
cafe lounge.
we spent a good amount. We both got an entree. Um, Selena had like 2 or 3 drinks. I had like 2 or 3 drinks. We both got a separate dessert because we were just like, we're just it's we deserve it after this long trip because we didn't really have any meals. We've been eating airplane food all day, which was not bad, but we'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
And so when it was over with and done, we're like, yeah, this is gonna be like $1 million fucking, and it wound up being just under 4,000 rupees, which is like $40. And if we were at home, we would have easily
Did 40
paid.
each, probably.
Yeah, at minimum, at minimum.
Yeah.
So it was pretty good, and it was a candlelight dinner, which we didn't ask for.
Yeah, they're really
It's
sweet.
just what it was. Playing this lovely jazz music. Hashtag
They finally
Tom
just
Schumann.
turned it off.
Hashtag Spiral Gyro. Hashtag Tom Schumann. Hashtag Spiral Gyro.
Anyway, they just turned off the jazz music, so they're like probably officially closed.
Yeah.
I guess just so you guys know, we have more videos about Kathmandu coming up. It's gonna be about Qatar Airways, like our flight coming to Kathmandu. Um, about like some of the tours that we're gonna do. Don't forget to check out our room tours. We're doing one in Kathmandu and then one in Doha because we have two different places we're staying at. But Doha's not until this weekend coming up. And then
I do this thing with live streams, and I don't want to forget. As long as you are not family or immediate friends, if you like, share, and comment this video within a month of us posting it, I will send you one cashmere sweater from Nepal.
There you go. Yeah, we'll get it for you.
I'll send you an email on the back end of it, and I'll get your address, and I'll send you out one here. But you have to do it within the confines of a month. There you go.
I was about to say, what if we're not here? And
I know where to get them.
Oh, okay.
I know where to get them. It's okay.
You heard it from here. Oh, we're at 21 minutes. Okay, we gotta go.
We gotta go.
Because we're not really talking about much. We just wanted to make an appearance and let you guys know we're alive. We're in Kathmandu.
Oh, yeah. We also wore our shirts.
Yeah, our Mr. and Mrs. shirts. I can't, here you go. That's backwards.
Not official yet, but we're getting there.
But that's definitely our email addresses. Mine is Mrs. at the City and Beyond, and his is Mr. at the City and Beyond. So if you ever have questions or have suggestions, definitely give us a holler. Anyway, thanks for watching. Definitely subscribe. We have way more. This trip is gonna probably be about 8 videos. Yeah. So definitely subscribe. Ring the little notification bell, and we will see you soon. Make sure you follow us on Instagram because we will have live updates on there throughout the whole trip. We're running on mostly Wi-Fi. T-Mobile doesn't have data here, so I don't have any signal outside of... Well, I do have a signal, but just for text and calling outside of our B&B. Anything you want to add?
Like, subscribe, comment on this video, share it with your friends, and stay tuned for more fun adventures from the city and beyond.
We'll see you guys soon. Miss you guys already.
Bye.
How do I turn this off? Bye.
Bye.